Adrian, what's good, man? How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. Hope you do, and thanks for having me.
I'm pumped to have you. There's a new term going around the web. I think it's the same premise of SEO. So I'm just curious if you could, at a high level, tell everyone what this AI, I don't even want to ruin it. Like, what are we calling GEO, AEO? What is this, and what are its roots from SEO or just getting businesses found on the internet?
Yeah, well, so basically, you're right. There is multiple terms. I get the market and the people will decide the one that will stay. So you may heard about AEO, that stands for Answer Engine Optimization, GEO for generative, but you also have like LLM SEO, AI SEO. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. They all cover the same thing, which is how to be visible and how to be recommended on AI platform like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Gemini,
right?
You name it, right? So basically, they all mean the same thing,
businesses,
AI visibility.
Sorry to cut you off. For the businesses that sell something like $1,000 a month service, or even some of these guys I know, they have $6 million to $10 million MSPs, these managed service providers. You know, that could be anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000 a month for them. I think a long time ago it was obvious what it meant to be found online, but what does it mean to them now when somebody's searching ChatGPT or Claude and they're asking about whatever? Do you have an end-to-end example where what does it mean for that business owner that's at the end of the day trying to get sales to be found, discovered, and then what happens next when they were pointed out in AI?
Well, I guess the most important thing is like the conversion rate for the traffic that is driven by this LLM is extremely high. So basically, the traffic coming from the AI platform converts much more than the regular traffic. Actually, that's the highest channel in terms of conversion rate from all the digital channels. So much more than SEO, much more than paid ads. So we are talking about around 9% conversion rate. So basically, the traffic, the leads that are generated by LLMs are extremely qualified. And basically, the buyers that are using ChatGPT to ask about the services or to find a service provider, they are ready to close compared to the regular organic traffic, which is extremely important, of course, for companies to generate additional revenue.
Do you remember the close rate on just traditional SEO now, maybe, you know, in 2026? Do you know what that is? What's the difference?
It's below 1%, if I recall it correctly.
Okay.
So it's below 1%, and I guess the second channels is SMS, text message.
Oh, interesting. So do you mean that the SMS channels, like if you get the prospect on SMS, that's the highest? That one closes the highest?
The first is GEO at 9%. The second is SMS, around 2%, something like that, 2.5%.
Oh, wow. So the delta between first place and second place, even that is 7%.
It's 3 times.
So why do you think it's so much higher in SEO? Is it a lower user base right now, or is there some amount of like trust and context that's built into these recommendations?
Multiple factors, of course. I will say two main ones. First one is laziness. I guess people are lazy, to be fair. And now ChatGPT is going to provide you with 3 to 5 names of a service provider, for example.
Fair.
And you're going to choose among these 3 to 5 providers. That's it. Because you already have like the names in front of you, and you don't want to spend minutes, hours to find them on your side on Google. And then trust. I guess people are trusting LLMs much more than they trust Google at the moment. The main reason to me is now when you have the first page Google, it's extremely difficult to find your answer, to find the information you are looking for in a quite straightforward manner, because you have the ads, then you have the Google Maps if it's quite localized, then you have AI overview, and finally, after scrolling maybe 2 times, you have the first website that appears.
Yes.
So I would say,
Isn't that sad? I wish we could call that. Yeah, but I don't know if Google had a purpose, and Google competed for a long time. There was web crawler, there was Netscape, there was Yahoo. Google got you what you were looking for. And then somewhere, I think it happened somewhere along the way when predictive text started overtaking indexing. I don't know if that makes sense to the audience, but Google used to index and then show you search results. But then somewhere, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, everyone was leaning into predictive text. So now it's just trying to figure out what you're going to type next. It's not guiding you. But my point is, what is the death of Google where it's just not a useful utility anymore for searching? Have you seen that? Do you think most of the customer base is frustrated trying to get their answers on traditional search engines?
I mean, some for sure, but just to put things in context, because lots of people are saying like SEO is dead or Google is dead, which is absolutely not true. Just in terms of like numbers, Google search still represents something like 15 billion queries per day. Okay, 15 billion, where for ChatGPT, it's between 1 to 2 billion queries per day.
That's fair.
So there is still a huge difference between the two. So Google is definitely not dead. I guess Google is trying to figuring out how to deal with AI. And that's why now you have AI overview that appears on around 30%, especially in the US, 30 to 50% of the Google search. Now you have AI overview in it. And the last point, it's now you have something like 20%, I guess. Yeah, 20% of the Google queries that are question-based. So it shows that at some point, people are now more and more used to type full question. Okay, having a conversational
yeah, but it's like the questions like how old was Christian Bale when he starred in Batman? But the questions used to be, where can I find a carpenter in my area? And then you get a solution. But I want to respect that. So you said Google, how many billions of queries?
15.
Yeah. And ChatGPT is less than 10% of that. Then, yeah.
And actually, the Google search are still growing, right? Because you also have this kind of feeling that search is dying and it's decreasing, which is not true. Actually, the data shows the opposite.
Well, I think, to be fair, I'm not by any means a stock market trader, but I think Gemini is really creeping up in the efficacy. It's very useful, and it's already embedded into the first page I go to on the web every day. And I use it a lot. If I don't want the history from my ChatGPT, or if I don't want the attitude that comes with Claude, like I go into Gemini, and Gemini and I lately in the last 2 weeks have been doing really good things. All right. Well, I have a lot of questions about the history. Then I want to see if we can unpack that. Before we do, can you tell the audience who you are, who you love to serve, and then in what capacity you help the most, like the things you love to work on the most, and how you're going to market with that?
Yeah, sure. Where do I start? So first, I'm based in Asia now for the past 6 years. I moved from France. I'm French. I guess you can hear the accent, of course.
I heard it. I picked up. I didn't want to say anything. French people get offended when you point that out.
I don't. Actually, living in Asia, you realize that everybody speaks English, but with their own accent, like the Indians, the Malay, the Indonesian, whatever.
Yeah.
So
what part of Asia are you in right now?
So I used to be in Singapore. I spent 5 years in Singapore, and now I'm in Bangkok, Thailand.
Okay, Singapore's on my list. I used to go to Tokyo a lot, and they really loved traveling to Singapore, and I was like, oh, Singapore's definitely on my list. Cool.
You should.
So in Asia. All right, and now, so your background, the service that you're running, and just for the audience, I found you through your content on LinkedIn. It's so specific. It's so usable. It's so relevant to what's happening today. It's not hype, but almost because it doesn't have to be hype. Like, I think that the statistics speak for themselves, and you're laying out a clear map. If anyone would just pay attention and say, I need my business to get seen by prospects, here's one of the ways. So what do you offer to the market? How do you try to go to market with those services?
Yeah, so at the moment we have I'm saying we because I co-founded these two business with the business partners. So we have two businesses at the moment. One is a pure agency, so SEO and GEO agency, where we do help companies to be visible on Google and recommended by the LLMs, what we just discussed. And we released it, I guess, was 3 months ago. We also built a SaaS that is now public, named Clareon. I guess we put the link down below, which is a GEO data analytics tools. It's basically the solution that we tried to find more than a year ago. When we wanted to equip our agency Crescendo with a GEO tool, we couldn't find it, so we decided to build it, basically. So we built it for our internal purpose, and now it's available for the public.
What did you call the SaaS company?
It's called Clairon. It's a French name. So again, it's going to be easier to
I'm going to say it
below.
I'm going to say it like an anglicized American, just so the audience gets it too. The way I see it is Clareon. And I definitely understand I'm saying that wrong, but I just want to make sure. So Clairon, is that right?
Exactly. So Clairon. In English, we try to say Clairon, and basically this is a tool that helps you to track, monitor your AI visibility, and optimize it. So see it as the Ahrefs or the SEMrush, but for AI visibility, if I try to make it simple.
Okay. Let's unpack the hype. Here's an example of hype. I was paying for PR, for press releases, getting articles. And so the vendors started saying instant visibility in ChatGPT, whatever. And then I noticed that the prompt they were using in ChatGPT was like, have you heard the one about, and then it would be the full article name, right? And I'm like, okay, that wasn't indexed. That was like so specifically well scripted. That's like being on page 1,000 of Google search results. It's like I could type in any long tail. So that's hype. But what's real when you talk about? And I'm going to read one of the thumbnails that you have on your featured links. What is AEO? So what's real about AEO right now?
But what's real? First, it's going to be extremely difficult for any business or any company to be visible in AI platform. So let's say ChatGPT, if they don't have strong SEO foundation, right? So basically, it's almost impossible because in terms of online visibility, SEO remains very important and remains the foundation. Having said that, it does not mean that if you have a very good SEO situation, you're going to be visible on AI platform. And that's where AEO, GEO comes into play, basically, and where you need to have like dedicated strategy to be visible on these platforms.
Let's unpack that part because when I started seeing search results, well, first off, let me see if I can get to a question here. There's a lot of citations from LinkedIn and Reddit, right? Yep. Super interesting, but also that's not new. That Google's been doing that for a couple years now, at least. And my takeaway was you need to pay attention to some of these platforms that Google is using for citations. My guess is that's because backlinking strategies have been hacked so aggressively. Keyword stuffing has been hacked so aggressively. And LinkedIn and Reddit, maybe, and you can correct me on this, is a little bit more authentic. But secondly, what that led me to is, well, is AEO actually just SEO with a new name? Like, what are the examples where someone who had strong SEO, and maybe they're appearing on page 1 of Google, they're not ranking high in AEO? What were those differences for them, and how do you guys start working with the business owners to say this is how you bridge that gap?
Well, so lots of questions. I'm going to answer like couple of first and then the last one. Yeah. But for LinkedIn and Reddit, that's true that now both LinkedIn and Reddit, they are part of the top 3 of the most used platforms by LLMs, especially for Perplexity, AI Overview, AI Mode, because Google likes to make things complex for us. A bit less by ChatGPT, actually. It's not new, but very, very few business used to pay attention. So I guess AEO at some
That's
point
right.
also managed to put the importance of this platform in the front of many people's eyes. And YouTube actually as well is extremely important. Of course, it was already extremely important for SEO,
point.
but it's even more important for AEO and GEO, to be fair. So that's the first question. I'm not going to give the name, but this morning I was talking with a client of mine in Bangkok. It's a law firm, actually. When we started working with them 7 months ago now, very good SEO, like strong foundation, could be optimized. We did it, of course, right? Barely visible in AEO. Why? Because they were not optimizing the right platform. The main difference, I will say, is LLMs, they are getting information and data from many different websites across the web, and then they decide which one to trust, which one to leverage to generate their own answer. And if you don't have the visibility on the actual sources that are used by the LLMs, you have no way to control, basically, or to optimize your AI visibility. So that's exactly what we do. That's what Clareon, our SaaS, helps you to do, because it's going to help you to list all the sources used by the LLM on the prompts that you are targeting.
So I'm trying to translate into the non-expert words, so apologies if I get this very wrong. But if I go back to the question that says, let's say that law firm was ranking well in, did you say Bangkok? They were Bangkok?
Yeah, in Bangkok, yeah.
Yeah, so let's say they're ranking well on Bangkok law firm's permanent resident or something. You know, maybe there's an English speaker or a non-national.
Let's take this example.
Is this this is a good example?
It's not it's a good example for the audience. It's not the right example for this law firm, but let's make it simple. Let's take this example if you want to.
Okay. So they're ranking well on Google.
Yeah.
Because people are searching. So my question would be, why are they ranking well on Google, but they're not ranking well on AI? And I think what I picked up from what you said is because they're on some traditional sources that might have worked well in the past on Google, but they're not getting mentions on the new sources that AI is looking toward. Is that how you troubleshoot that?
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons. So one is like they are not appearing. They are not mentioned in the main sources AI platforms may use. So yes, you can have the Reddit, you can have the LinkedIn, you can have the YouTube. If they never optimize for it, and AI is going to leverage these platforms a lot, they need to be visible here. But it could be a very specialized website about laws or permanent resident. It could be a very specific website or platform that is very popular in Bangkok, for example. So what is very important, or what we've seen now for like 18 months, we are focusing on GEO. It's the fact that you need to have your name surfacing across the web on various sources. SEO experts are going to say, but we said it for many years, and that's true. But it never resonated to most of the business. Now it does a bit more with GEO.
Well, the other problem with SEO is, on the one hand, as a business owner, I understand it's relevant, it matters, you do have to show up. But I almost never trust the first 5 to 7 results I see on Google, just because I instantly assume they just got a ton of backlinks, they did keywords differently. I'm like, this isn't a relatable person that probably is a solution to my problem. I trust answers to questions. That's interesting. I've never said that out loud. I trust Google's answers to questions. How old was so-and-so? What is the capital of Thailand? I don't trust Google for questions like, who's the best immigration lawyer in Thailand? I just feel like those results are never valuable.
And you trust ChatGPT, right? For maybe reasons
I
that
guess
you don't really
I guess I've never
can
used.
explain.
I don't. Man, do I? Wow, is that a? I trust ChatGPT's answer on a lot of stuff. You're right. I guess I've never.
I know many of
Yeah, I
my
think the
friends
answer
when I
is yes.
try to explain what we do to my friends that are absolutely not techie or totally in different industry, that the first thing they are telling me is like, oh, but you can manipulate ChatGPT's answer. Man, that's terrible because I trust ChatGPT a lot and now I know it's fake, which is not really true. We are not manipulating anything, of course, right? But
Yeah.
I realize that, most of the people, they really trust ChatGPT like you would with a good friend of yours, right? You're going to ask your friend for, I don't know, 3 restaurants to go for a date. Exactly the same thing for ChatGPT. So it's a kind of an old friend that's going to recommend restaurants to you.
Is there there's 2 questions I want to ask, but let me see if I can ask this one first. One day I was asking Chat, I wanted a way to, I knew I was leaning heavy into video, this long form podcast, but I also know that written word still matters. And so I was trying to find a way to capture articles, blog posts, but I was burnt out with using my traditional sources like Squarespace or WordPress. So I was asking Chat, I want something that I could email in an article and it would like publish right away. Now I think I would solve that agentically, but it started listing out names that I had never heard of in the text publishing marketplace. Things like Ghost. There were, and apologies for all these brands because I can't remember. None of them were like try WordPress or try Squarespace. So when I personally investigated some of those solutions, I still think I should have used Squarespace, maybe because I just know it better. So is there a bias in the LLM to find something novel? Have you seen anything on that level?
Not really. Of course, like the very, very famous brand, they might recommend it a bit more. Just because, again, for the exact same reason we discussed just before, they appears everywhere. Lots of different blogs and websites going to recommend their product and stuff like that. But actually, for SaaS solution, for IT solution, it's a very, very good use case for AEO. Because actually, it's extremely difficult to compete on this industry for new joiners, basically. Let's say you just launch your own CRM, you have to face the Salesforce and the HubSpot and the Zoho 100%. And the Pipedrive. Yeah. So to appear on page 1 for like best CRM, it's going to take you either a lot of money or a lot of time.
That's a great point.
But for AEO, you can get much faster and better results on much more targeted queries and intent than SEO. So you might be visible among these giants of your industry much, much faster. That's exactly what we are doing with our SaaS clients, actually.
Very interesting.
Geo, very good use case for SaaS IT solution. Very good.
Okay. Here's a phenomenon I noticed. I used to do these little short clips about business, like, oh, the employees love it when your business isn't making money, etc. And mainly they were for YouTube. Every once in a while, if one performed well, I'd put it on LinkedIn. I had one about an American company called Buc-ee's. It's a gas station. It's like a gas station restaurant. And most people don't know that they pay the managers of a Buc-ee's $150,000 US a year. That's a lot of money. That shocks people to be like, wait, what? To manage a gas station? I had this little video that was like, I forgot the hook, but it was essentially like, you guys can't afford good help. Buc-ee's is able to pay their managers $150,000 a year. It had a little graph. Okay, one day, months later, that didn't perform super well on LinkedIn, right? Because it was kind of random. But months later, somebody was Googling the salary of a Buc-ee's manager. My video popped up from LinkedIn right away, and he messaged me. He said, super random, dude. Like, I was looking up Buc-ee's. You popped up #1 on SEO. Now, not that I want to rank high on this random gas station and salaries, but it made me ask myself, and here's where I'm wondering if you can share tactics or even better practices if you say tactics are too short-sighted. But to this day, I still think about that video and I ask myself, what can I put on LinkedIn or Reddit, or what should I put on LinkedIn or Reddit that would support a real business cause? How do I, knowing that it ranks so well, how do I feed these search engines what they want to get more business on my side? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what the strategy that we're having with our clients. So I try to make it simple. Actually, it's quite simple. The only thing is you have to do the job at the end of the day, right? And you have to do it consistently. So let's go back to the example of PR. Like how, for example, the question could be, how can I get permanent residence in Thailand if I'm an American citizen or like a British citizen or whatever, right? So that's a question. What I will say is like, first you need to make a great piece of content on your blog, on your own website, answering directly this question. We are not talking about keyword stuffing. We are not talking about like a 2,000 to 3,000 word like blog articles. No, we are talking about like a very simple one that answers straight away this question. Then I will say, repurpose it into a LinkedIn article and not a post. It could be a post actually, but it should be an article because LinkedIn, especially articles, are performing extremely well in LLMs. And then I would suggest to make a video out of it, like a 5 to 7 minute video where you just have to be face camera like we are doing it at the moment, and you just explaining exactly the same thing on video. And then you can make maybe like 2 short clips out of it that you're going to put on Instagram or on LinkedIn as well. And just with one piece of content answering one direct question that your potential clients may ask ChatGPT, you covered very different platforms. That's exactly what LLMs, the signals that LLMs and ChatGPT are looking for.
I like that. Here's the difference in thought process. I have a specific agenda. I'd like to get views. On the other end of views for me is advertising, sponsorships. I approach social media and I ask myself what's relevant to my audience, fair, but I also think to myself, what can I say or how can I present this message in a way that it gets views? So that's a mindset. Now, the business owner, my friends that own the $6 million to $10 million businesses, they think we want customers. That's $1,000 a month. I feel like they go to social media or the internet in general with the same thought process. We need to get views. If we get views, that will create warm leads. If we have warm leads, that will generate sales and revenue. Now, what I think you constructed came from a different thought process. You almost thought from the bottom up. And I want you to explain maybe how you came to that conclusion, but it felt more like we want to own a specific phrase or keyword. So we're going to create thoughtful content that creates a foundation, a base, and a meaning, and then layer it on it. That's a reverse approach, right? So how do you strategically think about the problem of we need leads, we need sales, we need business? How do you come about that to generate those sales?
Well, to me, that's the end result, right? So the first thing I'm asking my clients, of course, we work on keywords and all the technical or SEO stuff. But when it comes to AI visibility, it's more like, tell me what's the top 10 question your prospect, your leads, or your clients are asking you every day, right? Tell me. And then it means you need to provide this answer, or you need to own these answers on the web. So you make sure that whenever you have a potential client, user, whatever, typing this question in Gemini or ChatGPT, your content, whether it's a video, it's a blog articles, whatever, short, is going to be used. It's going to pop up, and your name, as a result, is going to be recommended. This is going to bring you most probably traffic, qualified lead. Back to what I said at the very beginning, that converts extremely well, and so revenue. So starting more from what my actual prospect and clients and leads are asking me every day, owning this space, these answers, and that's going to help you to generate qualified leads, traffic, and so revenue at the end of the day.
Can we try one? Let's try one specifically, and then I can go do a search if it helps. But on those MSPs, what someone would be searching for many of them is, how do I protect my business from ransomware? Or like, what do I do if I think I have ransomware on an employee's laptop? And
perfect.
I
Very
think
specific
when most
question.
people,
Actually, the more specific, the better, I will say.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess my pause on that is everyone thinks they're a good marketer, right? And most people are not good marketers. I look at that and say, let's write articles about what is ransomware. But now that I hear you speak, the prospect's not asking what is ransomware. The prospect was asking in that moment, what do I do if I think there's ransomware on my employee's laptop? So if that's a valuable question, and it might be slightly off, but if that one's valuable and you could tell a business to do 4 or 5 things and their goal is to rank as a high suggestion in an LLM, you sort of said it with the LinkedIn steps, but could you articulate that again and say, okay, here's the question. Now do this first, and then do that, and then do this, and do this, and you have a high probability that you're going to rank high in AI now.
Yeah, so let's take one of your 2 questions. So let's make it very simple, like how to know if I have ransomware on my laptop. That's a very specific question.
Okay.
I hope it's correct. I know nothing about ransomware. So let's
no,
say
that's
the
good.
question.
Yeah. And again, the reason I'm choosing this is because I'm trying to think of something, because I agree with you. People are going to ChatGPT when they're looking for advice on like, do this now, like
Exactly.
I think we
Urgency.
get answers from Google. Right. You need to unplug the machine. You need to throw it away. It's like they take the suggestions. So that's a good question.
So first, I will write. You ask your expert or whatever. I will write a very straightforward articles for my own blog, for my own website, answering directly this question. Not explaining what is ransomware. You can explain it in 2 sentences, but we are not polluting the articles with other like related topic. We are just answering this question, right? How do I know if I have ransomware on my laptop? It could be a step-by-step. I don't really care. It doesn't really matter. What matters is to answer the question of your users. What is very good actually in terms of structure for the content, it's to put like at the top of the content like the quick summary, like in short, like the short answer, because as I said before, I guess people are lazy. ChatGPT are like people. They have been trained on people, so they're lazy as well. So they love to have like the short answer at the top. And at the bottom, I would strongly advise you to go with 5 to 10 additional questions where you can expand a bit around the same topic. So you have your content. You have your blog articles. From that, very easy, and you can definitely use Claude or ChatGPT to do so. Use this original content and repurpose it for LinkedIn. So it could be the exact same articles. Trim it a bit. LinkedIn is quite poor in terms of like how to format an articles actually, but whatever. Post the exact same articles on LinkedIn. That's number 2. Number 3, take your laptop, take your iPhone or whatever, take a mic like the one we have together, and record 5-7 minute video, face camera. You don't need editing, you don't need anything. Where are you going to answer the exact same question on video? You put it on YouTube. Use a solution like Opus Clip that we are using. Make 2 to 3 clips out of this long format video. Put it on YouTube Shorts. Put it on Instagram if your audience might be on Instagram. Put it back on LinkedIn posts. If you have a good Reddit account, try to find Reddit threads that are talking about that. Provide the answer as well on this Reddit thread. Mention your company name at the same time, but provide value first. And so that's why I'm saying from just one question and one piece of content, your blog articles, you're going to cover multiple different platforms. All the platforms I mentioned are used by LLMs.
Yeah, that's so good. Also, my audience isn't natively content savvy, and but what Adrian just said is there are a lot of tactics in there too. Like by recording the 5 to 7 minute vertical, like Adrian and I are doing right now, there will be, or horizontal rather, there will be multiple vertical clips that come out of that. That's good. And I think, again, my takeaway is find the question, build from the bottom up. Now, does it matter? I guess this will sound dumb because every business has a website, but does it have to start does it need to start strategically on your website as your blog post? What if I started as a LinkedIn article?
No, you can start on the platform you want. The thing is like LLMs,
Okay.
they need to associate your name with the website at some point, right?
Okay.
Generally speaking. So
So
your
note to
brand,
self, I need a website.
yeah, basically, I mean, it's not. Some people say no, it's not true. Like for 95% of the cases, you need a website at the end of the day, just to
Okay, well,
just
so
for the
then
LLM
here's-
to retrieve your brand, right, and your name.
I love having experts on the show because I can make it about myself. I used to apologize about making this about myself, but I'm not sorry for what I'm about to ask. My field is called revenue operations. There are many, many, many opinions about what revenue operations is. I think most of them are wrong, and nobody's creating good content around revenue operations. And even though you're very specific right now to AEO or GEO, we're talking about revenue operations. So I want to own that keyword. 100%. I don't think anyone's ever done it. There's one company out there that has 7,000 paying members that maybe did it. I'm going to blow past them. So now if I were to think about that, and I know that I want to own what is revenue operations, when should I hire a revenue operations manager? Do I need my revenue operations team to do? I want to own every single one of them. What would you say to me? Go start a blog, go get a website, or could I still dominate from LinkedIn? Does that make sense?
I mean, LinkedIn's going to help you for sure. But again, it's like what do you want? I mean, what do you want ChatGPT or Gemini to recommend? Is it your content? Is it your own name? Right? Basically, what's your objective at the end of the day? Is it just to be known for that, or is it to drive leads? Right? So
no, we'll say
it's going to depend on
business. Yeah.
To get business. So basically,
I understand.
And I guess it's not like you don't want to start an agency or a service business. It's more like you as an individual, you're going to be like a kind of
I think
advisor
so. And I think I would
right?
refer it to agencies. That's right.
So if you go down the agency road, I mean, definitely you need a website for your agency because your agency is going to need a name that ChatGPT can recommend. If you go down the individual road, I would suggest to have a website for your name. Actually, when we work with a surgeon, it's quite funny. Surgeon, like the famous surgeon, usually they have two websites. One for their clinic, so the clinic is a business, and one for on their own name. Because people might type what are the best clinic if I want to do the nose job, but they might type what's the best surgeon to do it as well. So I guess in your context, in your scenario, it really depends, but I would strongly suggest to have a website, either for your own name or for your business, like the agency.
Makes sense. I get it. Okay, so Reddit has been fascinating me because for a long time in the internet space, we would consider that a cringe site or, like there's creepy little things under the rocks in Reddit. But I first saw an influencer pointing out that Reddit was ranking #1 for almost everything on Google. And at first I thought, oh, that's great, Mr. Internet marketer guy. But then I started noticing for very serious questions that I had that I wanted answers to, it would give me the answer and then it would instantly cite a Reddit thread. And then the Reddit thread would be kind of useful. So first, there's two questions here. Why do you think Reddit is so important? And then if we all agree that it is important now, how do you actually get that to work to your advantage? And I know you said that you did say the answer, and I understand what you mean, but it's not that simple on Reddit, right? Like it's kind of obvious to me when people are just saying, yeah. Okay, so talk to me about Reddit then and how you would lean into that for a business.
So the first question is like, why do I think LLMs, even Google's actually, are trusting Reddit, and LinkedIn is exactly the same actually, right? It worked. I guess the mechanism behind it's exactly the same. I guess because they think, and I guess it's less and less true, unfortunately, that it's real users, real people behind this that are giving their real opinion, advice, suggestion, recommendation on question. And it used to be extremely true for many, many years. And now, unfortunately, because of AI, you have more and more bots that's going to spam LinkedIn and spam Reddit. Still, lots of people are using it on a daily basis. Yeah. And I guess that's why these two platforms, actually Reddit and LinkedIn, to me are exactly the same, but for different type of audience or different type of industries or question, basically, are used a lot by LLMs. And we can see it when we work with our clients. Actually, law firms, because I talk about law firms, is maybe one of the only industry where it does not really work that way for many reasons.
Interesting. I figured that reviews on Reddit would go a long way for a law firm.
Healthcare is a bit similar. I guess ChatGPT and Google tend to be a bit more cautious about that because we are talking about legal advice services and health related services. That's fair. So
that's very fair. That's a good point.
We are working with fertility clinic, and on this industry, Reddit is extremely used. So even if it's related to healthcare. But for example, if you ask for the best surgeons or the best clinics, Reddit is not extremely leveraged by LLMs, based on my experience. So that's the first question.
Yeah, but I think, sorry to interrupt, but I think that's because Reddit users can't afford plastic surgery. That's my first thought. But maybe that's changing in the marketplace.
No, there is a lot of... Actually, Reddit is quite amazing in terms of depths, in terms of how far you can go and the quality of the information you can find. The problem is now with the kind of AI spam, it's a bit more difficult to find what is relevant at the end of the day. But it's still a very, very good platform with lots of value.
So we answered the why. Yep. Now, what I think is more complicated is the how. Because I'm cautious. LinkedIn's interesting. They see my face. They know what my angle is. They make assumptions about me. I say, I really liked working with Adrian on AEO. They're like, great, we get it. Okay, Reddit, very suspicious, very fast. Someone asked me an AEO question. I talked an hour with Adrian. You gotta listen to what he had to say about his firm. He's so great. Here's his website. They look at that and they're like, that guy is fake. So I feel like it's harder to do it on Reddit. So are there tactics or strategies, or do you just get lucky?
Patience. As simple as that. You need to be patient. That's as simple as that, and mainly it accelerated a bit because of AI, because now, as I said, it's extremely easy to create an AI agent for Reddit, and it's going to spam all the threads. So the policy on Reddit has been much more stronger than before, and now they remove a lot of new accounts, a lot of new content. So that's why I'm saying you have to be patient. You need to provide value first, and of course, if you create a brand new account and you try to spam your own services and to promote it, it's not going to work that way. But actually, it's a bit of the same for LinkedIn, right? If your only content is to try to promote very intensively what you do, no one's going to care. Right, if you are not providing any value to the audience. So it's quite similar. It's just that Reddit tend to be a bit harder at the moment. But again, if you find a very useful and relevant threads for your business, and you do provide value to the Reddit user, basically answering their question, right? You're going to get a very good and trusted account. And again, continue to provide value, but then you can start talking about more your services and your business.
Let me search something on Reddit, see if we can use it as an example, because let's go into Reddit. The heart of the internet. Let's see what Reddit says about revenue operations. Okay, 3 months ago. Which is the best revenue operations course available? That's a great question. It's becoming popular. People want to know how to get in the industry. There's only 10 comments. But so if I go in there and I answer that question genuinely, revenue operations is a really interesting career. And for most young professionals, they could start at 6 figures in the US. Here are free courses from Salesforce and HubSpot that would get you into the industry. So that's the answer, right? I guess what I always lose the connection in Reddit to is what connects the value I just created, and maybe this is thinking too transactionally, right? Too selfish. What connects the value I just created to, and by the way, you'd really like what Chad has to say about revenue operations, or if you're in the market for revenue operations, how do you connect that dot? Because it's not really like go find the link in bio. It's not really like here's Chad's homepage. They just think, oh, that answer makes a lot of sense. Let's go check out Salesforce. In fact, Salesforce probably benefited from that Reddit post. So is there a strategy that's authentic, usable, but then also serves your business purposes, which is to get deals or awareness?
But that's basically what I say. It's like at first, when you create your account, it's going to be brand new. It's almost impossible to start promoting your own services because you're going to be banned directly, basically, on Reddit, because too many people do it, and AI agents are doing it. So I will say, in this exact example, provide exactly the answer that you just said. And yes, for some time, you will need just to provide value to the people without expecting anything in return. So you need to be you need to get your transactional mindset away for a few times. And then when you're going to get Reddit, call it karma, but whatever. When you're going to get more karma, more longevity on Reddit, then you're going to be able to do a bit more like promotional message, basically.
Yeah, I know people are scared to say this. I actually have a very long-standing Reddit account with great reputation. So I am thinking of ways. Yeah. So, all right. Let's cap Reddit by saying it
That's basically the way to do it, right? I mean, again, I created my Reddit account for
that's right.
I can't even remember.
But I guess my point is
5 years ago.
Yeah, it matters. Reddit matters a lot. I just think that the data is so not even data. The anecdotal evidence of just seeing it presented matters a lot. But going into any room and just being, hey, look at me, I got something to sell you, won't work. So we'll leave it to the audience to figure out how to. I have some ideas now, actually. Now that I think about that, I think it would just be about dumping tremendous value until you're unavoidable, and then finding different ways to plug something. But interesting. So I want to go through some of your posts and ask some questions about them. Did you have anything you wanted to cover on the basics or why people should care about this or think about this?
I mean, I guess we covered it all. What can I say? I guess one of the main misconceptions about AI traffic is volume. Maybe that's something we can just spend a couple of minutes on that.
Okay.
It's like,
yeah, let's talk about volume.
People expect the volume, so the traffic volumes coming from LLMs to be huge, which is not, for many reasons. First, it's quite new. Less people in general are using it, less users, less queries whatsoever. So do not see or don't look at it from a volume perspective. Look at it more from a revenue perspective, volume of leads generated perspective, or conversion perspective. As I said, the volume can be low, but the conversion rate is extremely high. So AI, LLMs, not going to provide you a lot of volume in terms of traffic, but the traffic that's going to be driven is extremely valuable, actually. And that's often a misconception. So basically, volume of traffic is not the right metrics to assess the performance of AEO or G.
Yeah, but I also think, I know there's stories where people say if you're page one on Google, you get millions of visits. There was more to it than that. You know, there was a foundation that was laid that lasted for a long time. And everything I just heard you say, while I agree to the business that's profitable, things like create a useful article on your website and then go layer that on to LinkedIn and then create videos. There were a lot of intangible foundational actions there that are planting roots or laying a base for your business that will last years and years and years. content being one of them alone. The fact that you were able to strategically think about something, add value, answer a real question, reach the market, and then repurpose, for lack of a better word, into a much bigger thing. It didn't cost you. It wasn't exponentially more to create that, right? It was just minorly more, but it had exponential return. And we don't know what LLM turns into in the next 3 to 5 years. So that's a good call out. I think so. The volume's low right now, but I mean, I think it's an early indicator of what information seeking systems are looking for to be relevant in the next 3 to 5 years. Do you have, I know nobody likes the prediction game, but at what rate do you see it growing, or where do you think it's going in the next 3 months to 3 years?
I made a couple of posts about it recently. One is maybe like 2 to 3 weeks ago about the rise of AI traffic, because the growth is just insane. From 2024 to early 2026, it's just insane. Claude, it's like time 40, ChatGPT times 7, but the base was bigger. And something, I guess it was a data from December last year. It was like ChatGPT hit 1 billion queries per day in 2 years, which is 9 years faster than Google. Google achieved this in 11 years. Of course, it was different time. Internet now is spread everywhere worldwide, but still. So the projection, so it's not mine actually, it's like data at some point. The projection is like by 2030, so in 4 years or so, ChatGPT should catch up with Google. I'm not sure if it's going to be true, but that's the projection that we have at the moment.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. And I know that you're not taking one brand over the other. I think the only way Google survives is if Gemini takes the forefront. And for me, I don't know if they slipped it in, but sometimes it feels like AI mode, especially on mobile for me, has been defaulting to the initial, like it's not even AI and then search results, it's like AI mode. And then I have to say, oh, okay, I have to tap all, show all to see traditional search results.
You see, what's funny, Chad, it's like since the beginning you said AI mode, and I'm pretty sure you are talking about AI overview actually, and that's the main problem of Google. They have
let's see.
Gemini, AI mode, and AI overview, and then they have AI Studio also, and it's so they make the life of the people extremely complex.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, what was they tried to like cram Google Chat down. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I'm searching on Safari right now. It's AI overview first. Yeah. And then, this is what makes me mad about Google though. Maybe it's a stupid question, but what is revenue operations? AI overview, very useful. I can tell that they're citing Forbes, Salesloft, and YouTube. That's the 2 logos I recognize. But then the number 1 search result is Salesforce. So anyway. And then they go, okay.
And then they say, okay, go deeper with AI mode. So they are switching you from AI overview to AI mode. Everything is powered by Gemini. Anyway, that's quite complex.
Yeah, I just remember the other day, this is where Gemini really impressed me. I was searching for something, I think like trending SaaS names, to try to develop one of my own. So it gave me that, and then I asked what an idea that I had meant. It answered that for me, and then it like rolled me into generating a little mock-up of what that might look like. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's different than just search, right? Like it went from query to utility. I thought that was very interesting, and I do know that's Chat's proposition. But I still think people are going to Google when they have just some questions first. But now, my main point in support of yours is that I think what we consider traditional search, it's got to go away. And it's going to go down to us seeking information from what we think is an intelligent tool that parses wild amounts of information fast and gets us to some signal through the noise. That's an objective or goal or desire in AI, I think.
I do agree, and actually, funny fact is like I totally ditched Google search maybe like 6 to 9 months ago, and now I'm
What's your-
coming
Go ahead.
back more and more using it because of AI overview, actually. Because now I finally have the answer to my question straight away. And I don't have to scroll down and find the first like link and the second.
I like when they added the references more. I know there were always references, but when they added the references more obviously, and the number one reference wasn't Wikipedia, I was like, oh, I'm very interested in this. There was something in the news today. Let me see if I still have it from the Neuron. Was that OpenAI is trying to create its own device, and I thought that's where you break out of all the walls. Then they're not beholden to Apple and they're not beholden to Google. Did you see that already? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I read something quickly about like OpenAI wanted to go to the hardware road. Personally, I guess it's my point is it's absolutely stupid because it's totally different business to do hardware. And
it is.
I guess
it is.
To me, at the moment, the companies that is doing the smart move is Apple, definitely, because.
Okay, but here's why I asked the question. You said you ditched Google. Now, as an iPhone user, for me, it's like I go to Safari and it's in Google. How did you ditch Google? Are you saying that you open up Google Chat first?
Google search. So it means that whenever I had a question, I always used Perplexity or ChatGPT. Of course, I'm still using Google Maps a lot, and I'm still using Chrome, and I'm still using the Google Workspace and everything. But my point is like Google search. So the fact that I like searching on Google, I barely use it for the past 9 months. And now more and more, thanks to AI overview. Because now I finally got my answer straight away. And I don't have to spend time.
But what did the habit of mine is iPhone, Safari, type the search in the search bar, that's going to give me Google. So did you just change your whole behavior to iPhone, open ChatGPT, or open Perplexity? Okay, all right.
It's like iPhone, right here, iPhone, boom, ChatGPT, that's it. As simple as that.
ChatGPT first sucked me in when you could iPhone, open chat and hit that microphone and just start talking. And I was like, oh, this is super useful. I did find myself going back to Google. Now, but my point about the device is that application we're using, OpenAI, Perplexity, whatever, it will always be limited by what Apple decides it can or can't do. I think that I agree with you. They should not be in the phone business, but if they want to be, if AI at large wants to be in the we do things for you all day on your devices business, they're going to have to get into the device business, or they're going to have to like hope that Microsoft and Apple and Google care enough to like not charge them 30 to 40% to get that done. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Actually, I read something that one is very interesting, and second, I'm quite aligned with this. It's like tomorrow, the moat, it's not going to be the models anymore, and that's why some people are extremely how to say, what's the English word? They're not really confident, let's say, for OpenAI or even for Anthropic or whatever, because tomorrow anybody, when I say anybody, it's not true, but you see my point, can release a better models like DeepSeek. You haven't heard about DeepSeek for a year. They just released V4 and apparently it's amazing, blah, blah, blah. Kimi. Yeah. Like I guess 99% of the people never heard about Kimi. Kimi just released an open source model. It's amazing. So the model's not going to be the moat. The moat, I guess, still going to be like owned by companies like Apple that can embed the AI into the everyday experience and into the device that you're already using, actually.
It will be interesting, though, because I just don't like the Android devices. And so I don't know. There's more to this than just like our LLM, you know? So that part would be interesting. All right, let me see if I can find just a couple posts because I love the way you present some of these things. So let's see. You're visible to a third of your audience. Let's see. Essentially, iNews. All right, you're staying on top of that. Oh, you did post an article. I'll have to go back and click through the article. Okay, maybe one. I guess you're plugging Mail Doso, but let's talk about what you're doing here. Your post says, do you know if ChatGPT recommends your business or your competitors? We checked it. Oh, actually, you're checking it for that company. All right, let's talk about that, and maybe we can close with that for the companies. How could they do a little self-audit? Like, what's relevant? Because if you lead the witness, if you say, have you heard about rubric cybersecurity protection? The answer is yes. But if you ask a more generic question, like what is the most valuable ransomware tool out there, it might not be rubric, right? So how do you go about deciding that your business is positioned well or not? What can some of these owners do on their own?
Simple. To start with, let's say you list maybe the top 10 questions, as I said before, that your clients, leads, prospect may ask. You have 10 prompts, basically, right? Keep these 10 prompts. They are informational queries, keep it. Then find another 10 queries, more commercial, transactional. What are the best XYZ? What is the best XYZ services firm, XYZ software doing whatever stuff, right? List maybe 10 of them. Okay, covering exactly what you want to cover, the audience, the geography, location, whatever. So let's say you have a list of 20 prompts, just to have a very first high-level audit. And then that's the thing, and that's why we built Clareon, basically. Then you have two options. Either manually you go to ChatGPT, you type them, and then you list all the competitors and you list all the sources used by ChatGPT. You do the same in Gemini, you do the same in Perplexity, and you do it for the 20 prompts. You're going to get all the data that you need, your competitors, and the list of sources used by the LLMs. Or you go to Clareon, and Clareon does it for you automatically.
For sure.
And can even generate the relevant prompts for your business based on concrete data.
That's good. It's so funny. Sometimes when people say things, I'm like, man, that was so obvious, but I never thought of it. What I heard from that, the real value for me is, here's the 5 sources that 3 different LLMs use to come to this conclusion. Why am I not in Inc. magazine talking about XYZ? Or why am I not in, because it's not always Forbes. Sometimes it's some random obscure source, and it's not difficult to add value there. That's really good. So then tell us more about Clareon. Clareon, pardon me for saying it wrong.
That's good.
Who do you love to serve? How do you want to serve them? What can they get from you today? Where can they find you? Like, what would you like to leave with the audience and where they can follow up with you?
Yeah, so we are addressing 2 types of businesses. One is definitely marketing agencies, SEO agencies, or geo agencies, right? So basically agencies that are serving other clients. More and more companies are asking about geo. If you are an agency, your clients are asking you about geo. You need to have a tool like the Ahrefs, the SEMrush that have strong limitation and cost a lot of money when it comes to AI visibility. So we equip this agency with the tool that's going to allow them to track and monitor the AI visibility of their clients and start taking action on the data. And then, so that's part of our clients. The other part is direct like brands, direct like end companies that have an in-house marketing team, potentially running in-house SEO. They know they need to cover geo, and for the exact same reasons, they need a tool to track this AI visibility. And so they're going to subscribe to Clareon and start doing inside the tool. And soon, directly from Claude, because we are releasing our MCP in a few days.
I'm still with Claude because of MCPs, and I don't know. Maybe. What's some of your AI broader opinions? What's your favorite? What's your go-to daily use tool?
Depend on the purpose. Everyday question, everyday simple stuff. ChatGPT. Everything related to work. Claude.
If a business owner hasn't started anything with AI yet, what would you encourage him or her to do? What's a good first step?
In terms of tool, I will definitely suggest Claude because at the moment it's the most complete and the most easy to use. I would say, especially because of co-work that they released like maybe 2 months ago, which is basically the same capabilities of Code to an extent, Claude Code, but much more user-friendly for non-techie people, basically, right? I'm not techie at all. So I would suggest Claude. And I guess after that, it's very simple. If you want to kickstart, it's like we listed the 10 questions your clients may ask you on a daily basis. Just list the 10 tasks that you are doing every day that consume most of your time. Pick one and play with Claude Cowork and ask him how it can help you to automate this task. Do it one with him, create a skills out of it, move to the next one.
Yeah, that's good. Adrian, I appreciate you. We'll put your links down in the description. Everyone go check out his stuff. I really love your stuff on LinkedIn. I think it's very useful, and I hope people click through and go check out the service as well. If you guys made it this far, if you like this episode, I want you to hit like and subscribe for me, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Adrian.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.